It is Monday, July 29th, 2024, 6:29 a.m. Eastern Time, and I'm taking a break. Okay, it's 6:40 a.m. Eastern Time, and my brain is fried. I'm really having trouble here. Yes, so what you do every single time, I don't know what your goal is, but what you do is you damn near kill me and you rev me up. Okay, that every last thing you do just revs me up that much more, also again, it damn near kills me. A lot of time, well, pretty much every time, yeah. You're damn near killing me every time for the past God knows how many iterations of this. I don't like to be at the center of everything in the whole world. Okay, I didn't sign up for this. Nobody told me. I never signed no paperwork to acknowledge this when I go to walk for this bank. That it is a matter of life and death. That the fate of the world hinges on the conduct of the people of this bank, and they're not changing their conduct anytime soon. And so we need you as an employee, we need you as a customer, we need you as a community, we need whoever you are, if you have any contact with this bank whatsoever, we need you to pay an infinite price for this bank's conduct. Okay, I never signed up for that. Now, of course, there's an exception there. There are people who come into contact with this bank that are never asked to pay an infinite price for the bank's conduct. That's the Justice Department, the Federal Reserve, the SEC, all of these other masturbators. They're never included. Okay, and that's a big part of the problem here. Is you don't know how much it hurts to have to deal with the consequences of this bank's conduct because you're never on the receiving end. Okay. I'm looking back at this and looking forward and looking at any direction whatsoever. If Congress actually cared at all, had any interest at all in this bank being held accountable and this bank stopping hurting people, what they would do is they would strengthen citizens' arrest laws. They would turn the law enforcement enforcing the law against this bank over to the citizens, specifically over to the victims. Because we're intense, we've been hurt. This is not a lighthearted matter to us, and we don't have this bias where we see them as saintly and godlike and incapable of doing wrongs, no matter how indecent they are, no matter how many kidnappings they perpetrate, no matter how many times they defraud people, no matter how many times they defraud the Social Security Administration. They've got this permanent fucking halo, and we don't have a perception of ourselves that we're like fucking cockroaches who deserve to be treated like less than human vermin because that we've made a claim that the people of this bank aren't deities. Okay, and that's kind of the bottom line here. All this world being at the center of the world stage, all of this at a more fundamental level, it's about the people of this bank being deities. Okay, that if you want to be the boogeyman, okay, if you want to be the most evil piece of shit on the face of the earth, according to the lies that come out of the mouth of the people of the Justice Department, here's your steps. One, you say that you make a claim that the people of this bank are not deities who are completely above the law. Okay, that's going to really flare up the Justice Department. They're going to be really frothing at the mouth. They're ready ready to go lie behind your back. And number two, is speak accurately about the Justice Department's conduct. Okay. Only the most depraved piece of shit on the face of the earth could ever do those two things. This is such a taboo. This is so outrageous. This is so over the top to say that Wells Fargo executives are not deities who are completely above the law. And to describe the Justice Department's conduct accurately. Okay, when you speak of the Justice Department, you're obligated to flatter them endlessly the way that they flatter themselves. And it's like you people write your own performance review and you write it from way up in the fucking clouds, while down here on Earth, where the real consequences happen, it doesn't feel so good. Okay, we'll look at this. I've been suffering for goddamn years. The main thing that I need is money. I contacted you in March of 2020 as a disabled person. I contacted the deadbeats at HHS-OCR as a disabled person. They're not going to put down their cup of coffee for anything related to me. They don't give a shit. I've been suffering like hell for years over the conduct of a bank that's got $2 trillion in assets, or $1.9 trillion in assets, $200 billion in cash. The parameters of the situation from my perspective and the perspective of anybody who's not a fucking kook is that we should be able to work this out. There's no reason that I should sit here and suffer. Okay, and you call yourselves the Justice Department, and you're like compulsively obstructing justice. Okay, what is this? And going back, I don't like to be. It's like I care about the microcosm of my own life. I like to help people. I keep to myself. I don't bother anybody. And it's like I live kind of like a quiet existence. Really, kind of like in my own little world is kind of how I work. And I end up, I'm in a conflict with this bank where I want them to have a conversation. Okay, and that's another step you haven't taken. You have not issued a warning. You've not sent out flyers. You've not done anything to warn other people of what's going to happen to them if they want Wells Fargo to have a consequences-free conversation about an egregious, reckless wrong that they did. Okay, consequences-free. Okay, so it's not that this bank's above the law, okay, because consequences-free is above the law. They don't have to do any goddamn thing. Okay, they get off scot-free, but no, the bank is not even going to privately admit to you that it made a mistake. Okay, that's the level of the deity complex these people at Wells Fargo have, and that's the level of that you're going to enforce their deity complex. Okay, but I want a simple conversation so that I can go on with my tiny little life that matters to me. Okay, my life matters to me to some degree as the same amount of these people at Wells Fargo, their life matters to them. Okay, I'm nowhere near as pathologically self-centered and arrogant and disgusting as they are. Okay, I mean, these people are goddamn sickening and repulsive, but my life does matter to me a lot, and everybody's life matters to them a lot. There's nobody that goes to Wells Fargo for the sake of being a martyr and paying an infinite price for Wells Fargo's conduct. Okay, so that doesn't work. Things spiral and spiral and spiral, one thing after the other, and now I gotta sit here and talk to the world's only superpower and a bunch of liars that work for the world's only superpower, it's like the global economy is at stake, and everybody's reputation. The Federal Reserve is looking like a bunch of jackasses. They're looking like a bunch of corrupt thugs. They participate in Wells Fargo's crimes. They send me nasty replies to my emails for like sarcastic and demeaning to me when I am disabled. They do this based on their amateur interpretation of healthcare records that were illegally obtained by Wells Fargo and waltzed in and shown to them. Okay, this bank shows them the evidence of a crime. Okay, they're looking fucking horrible. All of your conduct is terrible for you. Okay, that's what it amounts to. Your conduct is a big goddamn problem. The conduct of Wells Fargo is a big goddamn problem. The conduct of the Justice Department is a big goddamn problem. The conduct of the Board of the Federal Reserve, every last one of them, is a big goddamn problem. The conduct of the SEC is a big goddamn problem. Okay, and you see the solution to this problem is to beat the living hell out of a disabled man that you've been beating the living hell out of now for years and years and years and years and years. Okay, so and again, you gotta understand, I'm disabled. I will never make it in life. Okay, there's nothing they can do that would ever fully make it right. Aside from that, I'm helpless. I cannot care for myself. Okay. My situation is more and more and more unsustainable. Okay, so it's like I have no choice but to sit here and fight. And as I fight this fight that I'm fighting, okay, as I try to contend with these people to get some amount of justice out of this, okay, it's like the facts are right in front of me, and I have no choice but to kind of just say the flat out plain truth of what's in front of me, and the flat out plain truth is like going to wreck the whole fucking world, or wreck something with a lot bigger interest than me. I've got to call out the corruption of the Federal Reserve. They're an absolute joke. Okay, when a bank goes into your to your agency, you're a banking regulator. They go in there, waltz in there with illegally obtained healthcare records and show them to you, and your response is to be demeaning to the victim of the bank's crimes that you partially participated in, that has disabled from these crimes. Okay, you're looking like a fucking jackass. Nobody on earth is going to say that there's anything remotely safe to do business with this bank. Okay, this bank's got trillions of fucking assets that it should not have, because everybody on the other end, every counterparty they've got, is at risk. Okay, it's an unsafe place to do business. Okay, I've got to call that fact out, okay, to defend myself from this ongoing goddamn terror attack, okay, and to try to get my little microcosm of my life addressed somehow. I've got to call out the fact that I just did, that the Justice Department, you operate on the real world, okay. You're down here on the train of reality when you're doing what you do, and that primarily consists, as far as I can tell, of knocking the living hell out of powerless people. Okay, that's you justify your existence by going and knocking the hell out of powerless people. That's one arm of your operation. A second arm is enforcing the impunity of corporate criminals. In my case, Wells Fargo, and then the third arm, and this is where you leave reality. You go up in the clouds, and the third arm of your operations is to flatter yourself endlessly, and to speak in yourself in the grandest terms. Okay, now that's horrible to say. I don't like to say that about anybody, but I'm sick and goddamn tired of flattering you people and acting as if you're anything other than what you are. Okay, if you're something other than what I say you are, you need to behave that way and prove it to me. I'm no longer going to give you the benefit of the doubt, because you seem to get gratification out of proving me wrong every time I see you as anything other than the most indecent people conceivable. I've got to point out another elephant in the room here. Again, an elephant in the room, a plain observable fact to me. As someone who is dealing with a superpower nation, with the world economy, with the fate of the whole universe over trying to have a conversation with this bank, okay, that this is, again, this position that I'm in is ridiculous. This so-called rule of law, I'm sorry, it's a sham. It'll continue to be a sham until the people of the Justice Department behave differently. Okay, the criminality of Wall Street is ultimately not a Wall Street problem, it's a Justice Department problem, and you don't seem to think that you have a problem. Okay, and this audio that I sent you, where I explain the parameters that would be implied by my situation, the legal system, of how it's a system of coercion. But basically the legal system functions as a tyranny, okay, of the powerful. It's an instrument of the powerful to serve the powerful's interest, but by force. Okay, in a way that in no sense is this morally right. In no sense is it based on what's right and wrong. And to a large degree, it doesn't not even based on the law. Okay, the law exists mostly to serve the interests of these powerful people. That's how it works. And even in those rare cases when the law doesn't exist to serve the powerful people, well then, the powerful people and the authorities break those laws. Okay, this is an absolute system of lawlessness. You pride yourself on the rule of law, law and order. I can tell you right now, and I hate to break it to you, the Wild West would be an upgrade from where you're at right now. What we have is a one-way system of lawlessness, and the distinguishing factor between this one-way system of lawlessness that you preside over and the Wild West is in the Wild West, the little guy gets to fight back. Okay, that's your function, is to prevent the little guy from fighting back against the behemoths. Okay, and so what this amounts to is our legal system, that this thing is totally illegitimate. Okay, there's no reason, think about it. Okay, what we have is we have a bunch of people that are allowed to do as they please. I don't know how many people do as they please. I tend to... I like to think, well, the people in the business world. Okay, the business world done me pretty darn good. I tend to trust people, but for sure we got the people at Wells Fargo went off the rails. They do as they please. Their ability to do as they please will be enforced up to and including terrorizing and torturing a disabled man to death. Okay, there are other people in their class, I'm sure, that in this class can do whatever the hell they want. They can elect at any time to behave in any way that they want, that they're only constrained with the law of gravity, the second law of thermodynamics, and this type of thing, that these people are constrained only by the laws of physics, that all of these laws, go to these U.S. code. It's just a bunch of ink on paper. There's no point no point in pointing out this ink on paper that's in this legislation and in these laws. It's Title 18 U.S. code. All of this, you might as well be telling, well, there's a copy of Harry Potter down here at the local library. That's how meaningless it is. So you have those people, the people who do as they please. Wells Fargo, we've got this legal system set up where they can take people's houses. Okay, and there's all these rules and procedures and checks in place. They're not bound by any of them. Okay, they break them when they elect to break them. All of these rules, they just go and steal people's houses. Okay, that's what it amounts to. This provides a guise of legitimacy to anyone who doesn't see the emperor's bare white naked ass glaring at them. Okay, because who we have other than the people that do as they absolutely do as they please with no consequence, who the authorities take offense at the notion that these people should ever pay a consequence for what they do. Okay, that's the attitude I've been dealt here. That's the attitude that seems to be at play in my situation. You have a much larger group of people, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people who make some effort to conduct themselves according to the law, and who have some level of fear of the consequences of breaking the law. And what these law-abiding citizens are people who have consented to being fleeced and robbed and plowed all over for no benefit to them whatsoever. The system will never work in their favor. Okay? And I'll back that up. If somebody's neighbor, they cut down a tree in their neighborhood, they get their neighbor and they cut down a tree and it comes and it breaks breaks the person's fence. Well, then the system can work for them because they can sue their neighbor and go to court, and they'll have all these rules and policies and procedures, and their neighbor will have to pay them some damages. But God help this poor person that sues his or her neighbor. If they generalize this and think that they have any power whatsoever against this other class of people. Okay, that I can sue my neighbor, I can sue Chevron, I can sue Exxon, I can sue whoever, and I'm going to be subjected to a fair process that is anything other than me and living hell knocked out of me by these big companies, Wells Fargo, whoever it happens to be. And there's no reason. Okay, there's no reason for anyone. There's no justification whatsoever based on the facts in front of me for anybody to care at all about this. This system you call the rule of law is a totally legitimate system. Okay, now here we go again. Okay, it's like the words that just came out of my mouth are like a curse on the most powerful interest on earth. I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling you a liar. I'm calling all of this. Okay, but tell me what am I supposed to do? Okay, I don't know how to say the facts other than as they plainly are. Okay, and the bottom line of this is going to end in an absolute fucking disaster. Okay. And whose fault that's going to be? The same fucking pack of thugs I mentioned earlier, maybe about 10 minutes ago. The people of the Federal Reserve, the Justice Department, Wells Fargo, the SEC, all of you people, who will it be blamed on? It'll be blamed on me, because the same thugs that have done this are the people who are going to issue the verdict. Okay? And if you're wondering what went wrong this last time, which of course I was going to call this lawyer, which I still may have no idea. Okay, but it's like I talk to you, I want to get this settled and done. We're going to do it, and then 2 days later I find out you've been running your lying fucking mouth about me again. Okay, and this is another theme here, by the way. This is how this works. And again, I know you don't like to hear your conduct accurately. So we have two problems here, going both ways here. We've each got a problem. My problem is that you lie about me behind my back and deprive me of an opportunity to respond because you know you're going to get caught in your deliberate, filthy lies. Okay, that's my grievance with you. That's the hardship you're causing me, along with the unending crimes that you commit against me. Okay, your problem is that I describe your conduct accurately and I tell the truth about you. Okay, so maybe we sign a contract here that I'll agree to no longer tell the truth about you if you'll stop lying about me. Okay. What's the purpose of this? Okay, what's the purpose of any of this? But I'll go ahead and tell you, just so we have it for the record. And again, what you're doing to me, your endless terrorizing of me, hurts. It's never going to save you. Okay, and maybe it would help the situation if I stopped beating the living hell out of you and telling you, putting in your face what a joke you are, what a mockery you've made of everything that you claim to stand for. But I'm only fucking human. The ball is in your court. You're goddamn adults. Behave differently. Okay, but here's how it works. Everything favors you except reality, the truth, and the facts. That's why you lie about me behind my back. That's why you're scared to death of the day that I get to respond. That's why you use all your advantages, like your total unaccountability, your vast resources in terms of connections, money, and all of this. You use all of your power, all of your advantages to squash out the truth, reality, and the facts, which is what I represent, which is why you are afraid of me. Okay, you have genuine fear of what I could cause you. Okay, of the damage that I could do to you because I represent reality, the truth, and the facts. Okay, reality resides in me. Okay, the lies that you tell, that's all your stuff. Reality, I have it. I have the ability to explain it. I can reason people through it. I have the facts. I've got all the facts. I'm organized. They do not favor you. Okay. And going back to this thing, where going back to how do we curtail the behavior of this bank? Okay, so let's forget it. I mean, let's not kid ourselves, people. Nobody on earth should ever call the goddamn Justice Department about Wells Fargo's conduct. Okay, that if Congress wants to implement some measures to mitigate the harm done by this bank, one lens we need to look through is we've got to stop the victims of Wells Fargo's crimes from delivering the evidence of Wells Fargo's crimes to the Justice Department. We've also got to stop Wells Fargo from delivering the evidence of Wells Fargo's crimes to the Justice Department. Okay, those actions right there are a major cause of harm to the victims of Wells Fargo. Okay, so what we do, we forget the Justice Department. We try to keep them out of the scene as much as we can. For the last thing we want is for your fucking kooky agency to be on the scene when Wells Fargo has committed a crime. Okay, and actually, I'll back up the way this works, and this will kind of this will help to kind of make sense of what I'm going to say subsequently. Is that if Wells Fargo has committed a bunch of crimes and it's publicly known, there's no way out of it, that the media exposes it or whatever. Well, then you're going to punish Wells Fargo, or you're going to give them what appears to be a punishment. Okay, nobody's going to go to jail. That's not going to happen. But there, your role is to serve the interests of Wells Fargo. Okay, that's the Justice Department's. You're obsessed. I'm super concerned about the interests of Wells Fargo. That's the purpose of your existence from your perspective, or maybe you delude yourself into thinking something else. But that's what your actions clearly indicate. So if you can get away with it, you're going to slit the public's throat for the benefit of the bank. Okay, that's the most preferable option. That's the easiest thing to do. But when the bank's crimes are exposed, then this exposes Wells Fargo to a perception of being an unsafe place to do business if nothing's done about it. And so you'll go and have them pay some of their shareholders' money, $750 for stealing an identity, per identity stolen. This last thing that you did, so it's like you're going to get away with the least you can get away with of consequences to this bank. And then of course you find the hell out of John Stumpf multiple times. He took a big hit between what he forfeited and what you find him, but he's still sitting nice, $40-50 million compensation, more than that actually, I would say, after presiding over millions of felonies. That it's impossible to think, the facts make it clear, it would seem. He knew exactly what was going on. He presided over these felonies. He benefited from them. He's not going to see a day in prison. And he's also, like I told you in my letter to the OIG, he's the one who hires a third-party world-class audit firm to do an audit of the bank's own crimes, and of his own crimes, potentially. Okay. So that's how that works. Okay, so to factor that in, it's like we want to keep the Justice Department off the scene completely. We want them to be totally in the dark about Wells Fargo's crimes, about the evidence of Wells Fargo's crimes, until we get a big media hoorah about it. So we want to, and of course, the victims are going to get justice if the victims are allowed to prosecute the bank themselves, as opposed to the Justice Department. Okay, I mean, there's no justice coming out of you, of no substantial justice. It's going to be this, barely make their wrist red, performative, putting on a show type of stuff. But if we're going to involve you, we need to keep you in the dark completely to stop you from covering up this bank's crimes until we can get the media involved and to get a big storm started in the media where this becomes part of the public awareness. Okay. And so, Congress, that will be the other arm. First, keep the Justice Department, stop Wells Fargo, do whatever you can to stop Wells Fargo from going to the Justice Department with the evidence of Wells Fargo's crimes, stop the victims of Wells Fargo from going to the Justice Departments. Then you empower the victims to have prosecutorial power, to have investigative power in some way, and you empower the news media. Okay, because the news media, that is something that Wells Fargo fears. Okay, so Wells Fargo, at least not initially at least, they didn't go to the New York Times and hand deliver them evidence of a federal crime of obtaining somebody's healthcare records. Okay. They have a genuine, credible fear of the media because the media can expose their conduct to what they're ultimately afraid of. This is what Wells Fargo fears, nothing else. Okay, they do not fear the Justice Department. Don't kid yourself. Okay, but what they fear is the decency of other people. Okay, because the decency of other people, when you expose this bank's indecent conduct to the decency of other people, then people who have decency decide that they don't want to do business with a bunch of indecent thugs like this. And that impairs, that harms Wells Fargo's image, and that impairs Wells Fargo from serving Wells Fargo's interests. Okay. And to put in context the behavior of the Justice Department, the behavior of the Federal Reserve, considering that the only thing on earth that has a power to curtail the behavior of this bank is the opinion of the public and the decency of other people among the public. Then this whole system is just built to preserve the impunity of Wells Fargo. Okay, that the Federal Reserve is not going to make a big announcement. They're not going to send me an email, hey, we want you to know we're concerned about you. This bank just waltzed in here with evidence of a crime. Okay, because then I could turn that over to the media, or I could turn the email over to my social media followers, or I could turn it over to somebody, and I would expose their conduct to the only people that have power to curtail it. So the Federal Reserve, they're going to preserve Wells Fargo's impunity. Okay, so it's the exact polar opposite of what you're supposed to do, the regulators, the authorities, and all of this. And it's an absolute, joke. Okay, and the outcome of this, of me contacting the Justice Departments, about Wells Fargo's crimes, me building this airtight case, is instead of curtailing their behavior and instead of putting some constraints, making them have some kind of legitimate fear that they're not going to be able to do whatever the hell they want to do forever. Okay, and again, you're kidding yourself. You signed this agreement with him in February 2020. They act like that doesn't exist. If they sit there and lied to you and told you they're going to do better, or you've told them they have to do better, like they actually fucking respect you at all, I mean, get over it. I mean, you've got to focus on reality at some point. Okay, you people at the Justice Departments. Okay, there's nothing, they don't take anything you say seriously for very, 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 very good reason. Okay, we would start to think that they have some kind of a mental health issue if they did take you seriously after the way that you've treated them over this process. Okay, so instead of curtailing their behavior, what's happened is they've engaged in more and more and more sophisticated crime. Okay, they've traversed a learning curve here. They know where they fucked up with this healthcare fraud through my exposing them. They've looked over my videos. They've got a strategy. They've got a new skill set in the bag about illegally obtaining somebody's healthcare records. They know that they can do that just by contacting the hospital and offering somebody some money, or they can use this technique that they tried with Shirley. It's another option they've got. They know how to go about that. They can get the Social Security number, have them apply for government aid, and it's not convenient for a bank that has tens of millions of people's Social Security number sitting there in its systems. Okay, that any one of these people becomes a liability for this bank, okay, or they want to have a conversation about something, they've done something wrong, when we're right there conveniently, Wells Fargo can see what kind of case they've got against them, see what kind of info they've got to prejudice them by going and illegally obtaining their healthcare records with the Social Security number, the same Social Security number that they use to perpetrate identity thefts. Okay, and steal their money. They've still got that same Social Security number. Now they can use it to get the person's medical records. Okay, so this is a seasoned, fine-tuned, seasoned criminal bank. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And this bank is more fine-tuned. The saw has been sharpened. If they were a criminal power before this, that doesn't compare anything to what they are now as a result of this experience they've had. They're not used to getting caught. That's one thing. Okay, if people caught them more often, they would be even more badass. Okay, so if they've been getting caught for the past 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 years, however long it's been, that they've been doing as they please and getting away with it, they've been getting caught all this time, then they would already be sharpened by the time they're victimizing me. They're not going to get caught again. Okay, because they're going to be running a cover-up for decades, sharpening the saw in this process, and a similar process to what we're doing now. They're fine-tuning and honing their criminal abilities, honing their ability to perpetrate, plan, execute crime, putting one criminal skill in their bag after another, by no means, okay, you've got to be kidding yourself if you think the public is any safer, and you're kidding yourself if you have any concern about the public being safer, okay. If you have any doubt, what you want to do is you want to look at your own behavior. You want to catalog the facts of how you have conducted yourself and see what that adds up to. And don't pay attention to the words that come out of your mouth. Okay, but to get back, if you would stop or if you would relent in this fucking terror, that's had me sort of second guessing there that I was going to get it done with this lawyer. I would have called them earlier, but it bothers me as I agree this with you. That we're just going to get this over with and done, and then I find out you ran your fucking mouth again. Okay? So what's going to happen here? I am damn near dead. You damn near killed me this time. This is going to end the worst possible way, or among the ways this can end. The way this is going to end is going to be among the worst possible outcomes we can have. That's what's going to happen due to the trajectory that you're on. Okay. What's happened here is so the bank, these people at the bank, they don't want to lose. Okay, them and their attorneys, they're arrogant as hell. They have this thing where they're deities. that they see themselves as deities, and they're just not going to lose. That's what it amounts to them, and then the justice departments, you're totally, like, you people have lost your mind at this point, because the way you've conducted yourself with me has betrayed everything that you stand for. Okay, that your sense of self is wrapped up with this, that you cannot look at the facts as they actually are and live with yourself or deal with what you've done at the same time. So you're off in la la land, and then that's the individual factors for each party, Wells Fargo. And of course, the Federal Reserve, it's the same thing. They're looking like a bunch of jackasses. Their sense of self is wrapped up in this. And that's what's driving everybody on the other end. These factors that I've mentioned, everybody has a different factor, or the Justice Department and the Federal Reserve have similar factors. Wells Fargo, the people at Wells Fargo, have another factor. That's what is driving this thing, where you dig in your heels until the end of time. You will never ever stop digging in your heels. You will never ever stop trying to commit one unethical act, one crime, as a justification for the previous crime. You pull one big fat joker out of your ass after another, and when that big fat joker is exposed as a big fat joker, you go looking for another ace in the hole, and you get another big fat joker, very likely I'm going to be put in the ground. Okay, I'm going. There's going to be a tombstone with my name on it. And my mother is going to be screaming and crying as I am lowered into the ground, and you people just live with it, and I guarantee you won't have it. You'll never warn anybody else. Hey, this is Wells Fargo. They're deities. They don't have conversation. You're going to end up dying. You'll go ahead and let these motherfuckers run over and plow everybody else. You'll be slitting the public's throat, slitting individuals' throats. You'll be flattering yourselves. Okay. God damn it, what a mistake it was to contact your thug agency.